to share some questions or some things to think about if you are trying to decide if homeschooling is right for you. Now, I wanted to start out by saying just a couple things. First of all, I think that homeschooling is amazing. I do it. So I mean, kind of obviously, that's something that if anybody ever thinks that they want to, I definitely encourage them to look into it and maybe do it. But I also don't think it's the only way that we can give our children, good experiences in their childhood. I don't think it's the only way that children can get a really good education. I just think it's the best way for my family, and I think that if anybody wants to do it, and I mean they really want to do it, it's just really on their heart and they're very passionate about it, I think that they can do it. So I just want to start off with those thoughts as I ask these questions for you. So first of all, you want to ask yourself why. Why do you want to homeschool? What's your reason? And you could have multiple reasons. You could have just one reason. And right now, I know it's kind of a crazy time, and some people are really thinking about homeschooling because of the pandemic, and our public schools look kind of wonky, or we don't really know what's happening. And so taking out all of that unknown and just homeschooling seems rather appealing for the next year or so. And so I know there's a lot of parents who are looking into it who maybe never would have, or maybe we're already thinking about it and this is kind of just a push over the edge. And so just be really honest about why you're thinking about homeschooling, and really dig deep into that. And so just think about that and talk to your partner. If you're married, talk to your partner about that as well. And what are their reasons? Then also, what are your goals for having your kids at home? Now, I do definitely mean what are your goals for their education, but I also mean if you're going to homeschool, you kind of have like a sky's the limit for what kind of goals you can have for your children and for your family. For instance, goals for us, for my kids, I have a goal for like what I want them to get out of living here at home with my husband and I, and like us as a family unit. So when they are 18 and leave the nest, what experiences are they going to have had, and what am I going to have taught them? Not just school-wise. And then I also have a yearly goal, like what is their goal for this year? So when you're thinking about your goals for your child or your children, that's definitely something to think about. We have goals that are under the categories of mentally, physically, spiritually, and socially, just for our family. That's how we do it. And so because for us, their education is extremely important. We want them to be able to leave the house and go to anywhere they want, whether it be college, trade schools, start their own path, whatever they want to do. We want them to be set up for making those decisions. And so, of course, their educational, book learning stuff is very important to us. But also, something that's very important for my family is that I want my kids to have a good, biblical foundation, and I want them to learn what it looks like to live out loving as Jesus has called us to love. Now, there are so many secular homeschool moms and dads out there, and so that doesn't have to be a part of your goal. That's just a part of our goal. And so we want to teach our children how to love each other and how to love others. And let's see, I said physically. So yeah, I want my kids to try things. I want my kids to try some different sports and see if that's something that they enjoy. And if they don't, that's fine. I want them to know how to take care of their bodies and to exercise in a healthy way. So that's really important to us. And then socially, for our family unit, it's really important to me that my kids are friends, that they are friends with each other first, that they always have each other to fall back on. And also when they leave my house, and actually even before they leave my house, when they're teenagers and are older and have lots of friends and going out and, you know, going into the world more, I want them to want to spend at least some time here. I want them to thoroughly, you know, actually genuinely enjoy this family base that we are creating. And so that is an important part of how we approach our life as a family, but also our homeschool. And so those are some goals that we do, but you can have, there are so many different goals that you can do. So just think about what's right for your family. Is there anything extra too in your goals that you want to do, like together, maybe special kinds of vacations or whatever? So that's really fun part of that. And then once you think of those goals, a really good thing to do is to think about, can you accomplish those goals as their teacher? And when you're thinking about that, don't just think that you are the only one that can accomplish it. I mean, can you get your children the resources or to someone that can accomplish those goals? For instance, if you are not musically inclined at all and do not know how to play an instrument, but your child is very, very interested and you want them to be able to do that, you can do that. You just have to be able to take them to someone who can give them lessons. Or there are lots of online things now for a lot of different topics. So just think about, as their teacher, can you help them reach the goals that you have for them, or maybe if they're older that they have for themselves? Or are you going to be able to take them places or get them to the resources that will help get those goals met? Two very important aspects about homeschooling to think about are like your likes and strengths, and then your dislikes and your weaknesses. You yourself as the teacher, because when you get into it, you're definitely going to learn so many things about yourself and your children and your family. And so don't expect this to be a completely exhaustive list and to have zero surprises, because that's not going to happen. If you've never homeschooled before, you're going to come in to new things. You're going to realize, wow, I have a lot of improvement to do with, for me, it's patience. I have a lot of improvement to do in the realm of patience. There's other things that I have, of course, but that's like a biggie for me. So when you start homeschooling, you will find those things, or you'll find out, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how good I am at explaining this in terms that my 6-year-old can understand. So you'll definitely find things, or even things that you like that you didn't even know existed as a homeschooler. But before you step into all of that, there are things that you can kind of expect just from who you are, you know, your personality, your experiences elsewhere, perhaps your own experiences in school, things that you are definitely good at or you definitely really enjoy, and things that you are not so good at and you do not enjoy. And being honest with yourself about those kinds of things are going to really help you, first of all, see, is homeschooling a good fit for us? And if it is, which, like I said before, if you really want to homeschool, if your heart is really set on it, you can do it. You can get over any sort of weakness or any sort of dislike or whatever. But having that list before you can really help you see, this is what we're going to have to do to be successful. I'm going to need this, this, and this to help me get over the things that I'm not so good at. Or I'm going to have to like pull up my bootstraps and just do it for these things that I don't like, or whatever. And then you can really use your strengths and the things that you enjoy to help, you know, cushion the other things. So making that list and being extremely honest is going to be really helpful, first of all, for you to make your decision. And then if you decide yes, it's going to help you proceed. And then what would you need to succeed? And so that can be things that you need to help you homeschool and get over things that maybe you're not as good at, or you're not as comfortable with or whatever. But it could also be maybe you have a child with special needs. So what kinds of things are you going to need for that? It's probably easiest for me to tell you some of the things that I know that I need to succeed as a homeschool mom. I need time away from my sweet kids because they're not always so sweet. And I'm honestly an introvert, and my son is not. He's an extrovert. And right now, currently, we don't go anywhere because there's like lockdowns and stuff like that. But on a normal basis, he really likes to go places. And my kids are more well-behaved out and about, partially because they love being with other kids, and partially because I think that's just how a lot of kids are. And so we go a lot of places. And even when we don't go a lot of places, because I'm an introvert and I need time alone, my husband and I have found that I am healthiest. My mental health is served best when I get, maybe one day a week, or not one day a week, like one day a month, kind of to just do my own thing with nobody near me. And that really helps me to recharge. And so whenever that is possible to do that, like once a month or an hour here or there, we do that. And we do that so that way we can be successful at this homeschooling thing. What are some things that you need to succeed? Knowing what your goals are, knowing what your strengths are, knowing what your weaknesses are, knowing how your family works. Another thing that some families have to kind of readjust, if maybe you're already a stay-at-home mom and you're used to 2 of your 3 kids being in the school system for most of the time, most of the year, and so you do all the house stuff because you only have one child with you. That's really going to change, because not only are you going to have all 3 kids, it's not just going to be like summer and they're doing their own thing or whatever. It's going to be you're with them, teaching them, and that takes a lot. And then it can be really tiring too, depending on what ages they are and what you're doing and all that stuff that goes along with it. And so housework and maintaining the home and meals looks different. So maybe you need to have some frozen meals. Maybe, if your spouse can hoof it, they would cook once a week. Or maybe your kids are old enough to help cook more. Or you divvy up the housework a little bit differently. But that's just another example of something that you might need to be successful with homeschool. It's really, you just need to think about yourself and things that you need. One other thing that I wanted to say with that is I have also heard of some moms saying, I was really nervous about teaching my kid to read, and so I knew I needed something to do it all for me, basically, or just like feed me the lines. And so that is another thing that you might need to succeed, just because you don't know what you're doing yet. And so you'll need a curriculum for whatever subject to really feed you the lines, basically. And so just be honest with yourself about that realm of it as well. And then once you look at all those things and ask all those questions for yourself, and maybe your spouse or partner does it as well, then you just need to know, kind of put it all together into a big picture and say, is this realistic? Is this realistic for our family? Is this realistic with what we truly want? What our reasons why are? Can we achieve this? Does it all weigh out together in the long run? And like I said at the very beginning, if your heart is really in it, if it's something you truly desire for yourself and your family and your children, then the answer to that is definitely going to be yes. It doesn't matter what kind of obstacles you might have to overcome. It's definitely going to be yes, if that's true. So I just want to encourage you with that. If you have some pretty big things that you feel like you might need to overcome, you can do it if you want to. So as you ask yourself all of these questions, I think the biggest thing that you need to search out is this something you really want to do? So if you really do want to do it, go for it. Just set yourself up for success by asking these questions. Yeah, so if you are already a homeschool family, maybe in the comments add some extra little insights on how you decided that it was right for you. What are some other questions that I'm forgetting that people need to ask themselves before taking that plunge? And then if you are looking at it and asking if you should be a homeschool family, do you have any other questions? You can put those in the comments below as well. So thank you for listening, and I really, really hope that this helps you make a decision, because in the end, it's your family, your kids. What do you want to do, and what do you think is going to be best? Because you, as mom or dad or guardian, caretaker to these kids, you know what's best for them and for your family. So good luck making that decision.